Hi, this is Weekly Reflections, and I'm Nancy Joy. Hope you're having a great between the eclipses time, because the next one comes Sunday, February 26th. I think it goes direct. I think it's this 8:38 a.m. Central Time, USA. So that's part of the energy we're in, and I'm sure that we're all feeling it. Most people in a kind of good way. Not that life is without its challenges right in front of our face, but in the bigger picture, there seems to be a lot less intensity if you stay away from the media convincing you there is. It feels a lot better, that's what I say. In a session this week, Ezekiel said to us that we were talking about, the client asked something about what's really going on right now, where are we at? And this is what he said. What you're seeing on your planet now is the systems of control and abuse that you have been experiencing in a matrix for so long are now collapsing in on themselves. I think we kind of knew that. It is their very intensity in the throes of transformation that have pushed us now into this tipping point where we're going like this, and now we tipped over the point where everything is moving toward what we know is our ascension and a new reality. We've reached the tipping point, is what he said. I say good news. Yay, I'm on board. Universal energy no longer supports anything operating outside of the oncoming wave of unity consciousness. So that's good news. And you could say, yeah, we felt that, but I always like the confirmation, it's good news. And the even greater news then is that this next eclipse on February 26th is going to support that. So here's our challenge. Our challenge is to support this universal energy in our own lives, taking the focus off, of course, the crazy out here. We've been talking about that. That will, as my friend says, all is well. That will sort itself out. We're past the notice where we're going. So the challenge now is to be as much as possible in that space of unity, consciousness, and compassion
in our own lives, with our significant others, with our children, with our friends, in situations in our own lives. Sounds easy. I'm discovering not quite so easy. When you let go of all the stuff out there, you really have to practice the work on yourselves. And so the best way to do this is to come into a space of neutrality. I think if any of you saw my friend Jalila Starr's post a week or so ago about the consciousness coming into neutrality. And this is going to be really supported on a February 26th eclipse. I got this quote from Astrology King. I always check that it's a pretty thorough, basic, happening in astrology. I always check. And he says, you can expect to feel extremely sensitive to the extent of having visions and premonitions. And then I have a little aside here. Here's where it's time to respond from your heart and your highest consciousness. Because, you're going to be experiencing things. Following the February 2017 solar eclipse, you should notice more compassion and generosity around you compared to the previous months and certainly the previous few years. Increasing wealth and happiness can be found by following a more spiritual path that is more inclusive of others. That's his hit on this upcoming eclipse. So let's talk about this more spiritual path for a minute. It asks us to bring our triggers into compassion by activating the opposite. That's kind of what's meant by neutrality. So if you're really having a reaction, an angry, negative, in opposition, we need to change this isn't right, response to something, whether it's immigration or global warming or, any of the things, Obamacare, any of the things out on the table, then that's your own personal tipping point. That's where you are being asked to go to neutrality. And Matt Kahn's latest video just came out. It's called All Is Well. You can look it up on YouTube, True Divine Nature. I do have a link to it in my written portion here. But he does a very good job of helping us understand that in our lives and bringing it back into that, because as Ezekiel says, nothing will be supported that can't come into that space, because it's our expanded consciousness. That's what's going on. So here's the first. I just picked out a few little clips from Matt's video to share with you. Be what you are for, not what you're against, in all relationships and situations you encounter. So if you find you're against something, you bring the opposite into being. And that can be as simple as saying, may they be blessed. You know, may the immigrants, may they all be blessed on their journey. I see the very best of them all as well. End of it. That's all you have to do. You don't have to take another stand. Neutralize as number 2, neutralize your emotional impulse to react in duality by blessing the trigger and breathing your God self into the opposite. We kind of just shared that. Number 3, here we are here to do what's right in front of us. If you were to help all the Syrian refugees right now, you would have been guided into some capacity to be doing that. The best help you can give the pipeline, the refugees, or anything you believe in is to be centered in love and compassion in yourself, because that changes everything into that. So really good advice, right? Ego says, when your ego's in there, it says, you hear something, you get emotional, and your ego says, what do I think of this? Is it good or bad, right? That's where ego goes. The soul says, how am I really going to respond to this? The soul is asking you, look in your heart, to look in consciousness. And 5 is ask if you're responding from your soul to expand the higher consciousness. And then you foster that in all your words, in all you do. So, okay, this sounds easy, simple enough, right? Well, right away this morning, as I was thinking of writing this, and I had just got done listening to Matt, sat down with my husband, you know, in the middle of selling our property, and we were discussing some things that were coming up. Right away, in minutes, we were both into our usual opposing realities, feeling the opposite one doesn't get it, is wrong, doesn't understand me. We were very quickly in that mode. And it took me about 5 minutes of wading deeper and deeper into this abyss, which is never going to go anywhere. I'm not going to change him. He's not going to change me. Bring in the neutrality. So when I realized that, I could breathe into myself, come back into my center, and shift out of that pretty quickly, which was good. I went away and did something, and he shifted out of it pretty quickly. And now it's almost like, what were we going on about? You know, when you get on the other side of that. So we're really being asked now to step up to the plate in our personal lives. So my challenge to you is to use this eclipse time this next week and beyond, all the way to forever if you can, but at least do a concentrated practice coming right now, because it's supported by this eclipse, to shift every time you find your emotions or your mind taking you into what you're against and hanging out there, what you feel you need to protest, what you feel sign you need to hold up. And bring yourself back into your heart, back into your God self, most importantly, back into your breath. Your breath is God in you. And so it's taking you back there. You yogis know what I'm talking about. Just take a few minutes to breathe, and then you can bring yourself back into a neutrality and say, all is well. And it's the word you say. When you say all is well, when you say, may they be blessed, when I thought, may my husband be blessed on his path, it shifted me instantly. When I said it out loud to myself, it was even more powerful. So this is a test. And to add to this test, if you'd like to take the bigger challenge, our electronic media, whether it's the television, the internet, whatever, our phones, all our hides and everything, really do program us. They are giving us a version of something.
even in the highest spiritual sense, you're getting a version of what someone else is sharing with you. It's time for us to practice really being in ourselves and knowing who that is. So your second challenge, even if you can only do this for a day, is to turn off the electronic media unless you have to do something for business. But, no Facebook, don't answer any emails unless it's business. Don't listen to any interviews, and definitely don't listen to lamestream media, but don't even listen to movies unless they're really, something very loving and uplifting. Really give yourself one day of that so you can understand, kind of so you have a center point for the tipping point. So you can bring yourself back while everything's tipping and fulcruming into the new reality. You can bring your own point back into the center, the seesaw, the fulcrum. And so that's what I wanted to say. Yeah, we're at the tipping point, but here are some great tools to move through them. And I think we're going to need them. And it starts personally with you. So Ezekiel has always said that the human emotional field is the most profound and expansive emotional field of any species. I don't know. That's what he says. I'm buying it. And so we are unique. That's why there's so much attention right now on Earth and on the human species. And it's an extraordinary force field. So we either are going to learn to use it consciously to keep creating love and compassion and higher consciousness, or our emotions are going to pull us back into the old earth, the old reality, the 3D and duality. So let's be more conscious, even with our partners, even with our kids, in everything, to shift it into that centered place. Catch the magic of all the possibilities through this tipping point and beyond. It's truly incredible. Have a great eclipse week. Take care of who you are. Remember the free mini sessions, and we'll be back at you. Bye.